Well, this week had a battle between two undefeated teams and two nearly completely defeated teams. And that game just was absolutely crazy at the end. And there's still several teams that have not won a game yet. This is Sports Hour. Well, this week was an interesting week for our teams going into this. Several teams played and had a absolute wonderful game, and others did not do so well. It was a very tough week for some of these teams, and for all heads, this could have been the one week that could have been any other direction. Let's forget the thing up here. Alright, so this week we had a few games that were very important. And everyone, I am going 16-4 this week, so I did very well in predictions. Willie did about half and half, but most people did about average on this week, so this is not a terrible week for anyone. I currently lead 55 to 25 with a .688 record. Now, there's a few things to know about the Leland Cats and Leland Cats game was actually very low scoring compared to what a lot of the games were supposed to be. It was the Leland Cats that did take the advantage in the end, and at the end I did predict that game correctly. But now the other game that was very important to note is the Athens and the Jets game. So originally, the game ended with the Athens winning 99-97. However, a certain rule was put into place about this game that required them to go back to one of the scores that happened earlier with the Jets scoring 3 points. But it was taken away because a timeout was called. Now, after review and all of that, it was determined that one was supposed to be it, and it was the Jets who came up with a win. Honestly, this could have been either way, and honestly, this game was back and forth both games. The Jets were winning for a lot for the first 3 quarters. After at the fourth quarter, the Athens are able to come back. So it was a very good. Starting next week for this thing, I'll have the points and scores. I'm currently working on it. It's not up to date. The only ones that are correct right now are the first and the last. If you guys want to look at that, you guys can look at that. It is available to you guys. Anyone who has a link to it. I think the Werewolves are currently 3-1. So it tells you the top 6 right now, and then the bottom 6, I believe. bottom 7 for points wise, and they'll have the defense up in it. So hopefully, how that all fixed up next week. You can see the most penalties right now, which is 95 of the Chargers, and Panthers have 11 points. Not saying that this is, but the most penalties does seem to be making them lose a lot of the games for the Chargers. All right, now for next week, we've got some pretty interesting games. We have the Saints and the Legends playing, both of them 2-2 at this point in time. The Saints, it's being 2-2, having 345 points at this time, getting about 76.25 points per game, versus the Legends, who are also 2-2. Look at what they said here. Legends are also 2-2. They have 360 points. So this should be a pretty good game for both these teams. It's kind of split for me, and this was actually tough for me. I would have to go with the point system for this one. And I do think the Saints have a much better strong edge, and it does help that the Saints are playing away. I'm going to pick the Legends here, but this is going to be a very tough game for both these teams. This could be an either-way match. All right, we have the Browns and the Tigers. Tigers have not won a game yet. They are last in the division with 305 points, only about 76 points per game, versus the Bears, who are first in the division with 3-1, 333 points, 83 points per game. So honestly, the point system doesn't really show much. However, looking at the defensive so far, I do think the Bears are going to win this game. If the Tigers have not done well, Tigers have the third most penalties of anyone in the league right now. And it's going to be very tough for them. They're tied for third most. Werewolves and the Lightning, both these teams have faced before, and both these teams are in a very, very big position. The Werewolves having 374 points, being sixth in points right now, versus the Lightning, who are at 320 points, which is like one of the lowest points, I think, here. They're actually probably like 33rd. It's just going to be a tough game for the Saints because the Lightning are in a position to do a whole lot of wins. But I'm going to go with the Werewolves here. I think the Werewolves have a better chance to win this game, mostly because of the point system and all that. Falcons and the Panthers. It is going to be a 1 o'clock on Sunday game, yes. Should be an absolute blowout. It's just not going to make it. It doesn't make any sense to me to say the Falcons should win this game in all. There's just no chance. I have to go to the Panthers this week. Puppy. I think everyone should say that this will be the Panthers that will beat them in this race, considering also the Panthers have those third most points in the league versus the Falcons, who have one of the lowest amount of points. They're actually second to last in points right now, and I just don't see it working out for them. All right, Browns and Cardinals. Both these teams are in a strong position. Browns are 1-3. Cardinals are 1-3. Both these teams have about the same amount of points. Browns have slightly less amount of points. Yes, but really, there's not much of a difference in these two games. This could go either way for me. And honestly, the only thing I would say is the Cardinals do play at home, and they kind of get to choose most things against. And that's the only thing I say that gives them an advantage. I don't know how well it's going to work, though, because in my opinion, this could be an either-way game, and I can see it going either direction. I'm going to go with the Browns here, but I could see this game going either way. Knights and the Dogs. Knights being last, and then they're in the division, and the Knights being at 364 points, 92 points per game versus Dogs having one of the lowest scoring games down here in 34th. Yeah, there's just not a chance. I'm gonna go with the Knights here. There's just the Knights have a much better chance of winning this game. Dragons and the Superman. Dragons have won the most. They're fourth currently in points. This is tough because Superman, while they're not up there yet, they do have 345 points, so they're up in the top probably 15. So it's not a big chance for this one. I do think the Dragons had a pretty good season, but if we look at the schedules for each one of them, let's see, not the Browns. Let's look at the wrong one. The Superman, the Dragons. Dragons have a 3.15, which means it's a fairly easy schedule. Versus we have the Superman, who apparently don't exist. No. Superman. I lost Superman here. Supermen, who have a 124 schedule. I don't know what that means. I think I accidentally did this wrong. They have a very similar record, I believe. Let me just see what I've got here. So they have a very moderate high schedule. It's not a terrible schedule. They do have some grades. I would say that they do have a fairly good chance here of winning. Both these teams have a good chance, but I'm gonna go with the Superman here, and I do think the Superman have a better chance. Playing a late game does. Yes, the Dragons don't really do well in late games. All right, we've got the Westville and the Indians. Westville, 2-1-1. Indians, not on the board. Quite literally. They have not won a game yet, and they have one of the lowest scores. They have 304 points, which puts them down here in the 37th position. Yeah, Westville's going to win this game by a long shot. There's no chance that they do win anything else. Now we got the Jets and Otters. Jets getting their first win of the season. Otters still haven't lost. So it's going to be a very easy game for me to decide here. I will have to say the Otters, I think, are going to have a much better chance of winning this game. Jets are just not on the board. Nets are also going to be like the lower rank here because Jets only have 349 points. Well, that's probably kind of the middle. Versus the Otters, who have 348. So I would actually be honest, the Jets have a really good chance of winning this game, but Otters, I think, are going to win this game in the end. Colts and the Tex. Yeah. These teams are both bad. The only benefit is that they're in the same division. They've about nearly the same amount of points. Yeah, this is going to be a tough game to call. I'm going to call the Tex on this one, but there's really no way to tell who's going to win this game. We got the Lynx and the Packers. Lynx have done really well. Packers have done slightly better. It's going to be Packers here, but this is going to be a tough one for me to even say because the Lynx have done really well. I'm going to go with the Packers here, but I do think the Lynx are going to have a very good fight. And we got the Bulldogs and the Bobcats. The Cats and the Dogs will face off each other. Oh, this is a tough one. Bobcats are first in their division currently in 342, which is not exactly a very high score compared to a lot of these other teams. They're kind of going to be kind of in the middle. Versus we have the Bobcats, not the Big Cups, the Bulldogs, who currently stand in one of the lower positions, only 312. So yeah, they are really low down here. One of the problem with the score lines is going to make it. I'm going to have to go with the Bobcats here. If it's BO, that's what Bobcats is. Where BU goes with the Bulldogs. It's me. We got the Kings and the Pirates. The Kings. Kings doing 2-2 right now. 377, about 94 points per game, versus the lovely, and I mean the lovely Pirates, who are 2-2 is 2-2. 374 points. Pretty high score for this one. I think they're probably actually the 7th. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to risk it here and go with the Pirates, but I think the Kings do. I think the Kings are going to win. They're both in the same division. They both have about the same amount of points. I think the Kings are going to do very well, but it's going to be Pirates. I'm going to go for here. All right, we have the game of the week, the Angels and the Leland Cats. The Leland Cats are in 2 back-to-back game of the week, so it's the best record for both of them. They're playing 2 undefeated. Question is, who will be the one that makes it? Currently, the Angels are 4-0, going 375, and the Leland Cats are 365 with 4-0 record. Both these teams are actually wins. I'm going to say this is a tough one. This is a very tough one indeed. I'm going to go with the Cats. I think the Cats do have what it takes to do this, but this could be an easy game for the Angels to win as well. All right, Dolphins and the Chargers. Oh, dear. 1 o'clock game on Saturday at Leaville Stadium. Oh boy, Dolphins are currently last in Division 1 and 3, only 335 points. And the Chargers haven't won a game yet. They also have the most penalties, and Dolphins are not exactly in the best positions either. But they have approximately only 20 penalties versus the 95 penalties. I'm going to give the benefits to the Dolphins here. I'm sorry, Chargers. You guys got to stop doing penalties. If they can stop doing penalties, then I'll pick them. All right, we got UNC and the Warriors. This is going to be a tough one. Did UNC and Warriors already play? Did they already play? Let's see. Did they already play? That was my question here. In week 1, let's see. Because this might be the second time they play each other. UNC and the Warriors. I think they're in the same division. I think. Give me a second, see if I can find it. UNC and the Warriors. No, they're not in the same division. So this would be the first one they played. I was looking at it like, did they play? Have they played? It is going to be a tough game. I'm going to give the Warriors the benefit here because they are in a stronger position. But both these teams have a very good chance of winning this game. Both these teams 3-1. Stars and the Bengals. Bengals number 1 in points on the offensive side. As for the Stars, let's see. Stars currently have our first in the division, 344 points. So probably going to be in the middle somewhere. I think this is going to be a tough game. I'm going to go with the Stars. I think the Stars have a better chance of winning this game, but who knows? This game could go either way again. All right, Athens and Lions. Athens being a depressing loss, honestly, against the Ants. But honestly, the Lions didn't do too well either. Lions losing their game, as well as League. Is that correct? Yeah, Lions having a disappointing loss against the Kings. But honestly, both these teams have a very good chance of this one. But the Athens also kind of blew it at the end of their game against the Jets. But they are coming back, and that's the only thing I'm saying. That's why the only thing I'm saying about it. I think that's the reason I think the Athens will win this game. Ravens and the Foxes. This could easily have been a game of the week too. Ravens Foxes. The only thing is they're in the same division. They're playing for first place. I couldn't have said that much. They are playing for first place in their division. The only loss for the Oxes was against the Panthers, and guess what? The Ravens' only loss was against the Panthers. So both these teams have the same. That game is scheduled. I want to check here. For on Monday at 9 a.m. Ooh, mackerel. And by the way, if it's before 12, it's gonna be in the morning. So 11 is gonna be at morning. So 9 is. And the second game will be also on. Really? And the second game will take place also on Monday. It will be at 1 o'clock. So there are 2 games going to be on this, and this is going to be a really tough game. Playing in the morning these games all get decided completely at different times, and that game may be moved for about 2 hours. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Foxes here, mostly because this is going to be a tough one. The Foxes do have a slight belief behind. Are slightly behind here, but this is Hawks and Giants. I'm going to say right now, Hawks have turned around their season here so far. They're doing really well. The bad news is the Hawks. Let's see. Yeah, Hawks are 2-2 right now, 366 points versus the Giants, who are slightly below them, believe it or not. 322, 84 game. This could be an either way game. I'm gonna go with the Hawks, but I'm thinking this is one of those games I'm gonna be wrong about. I don't think there's a chance. All right, so if you guys do want to take your own picture or take your own team, you can put those in the comments below this video. There's gonna be, and I have this all linked and shared, so you can see the rosters, the schedule, the teams rosters, and speaking of which, while we're if their team's name, if the player's name is crossed out, as in, here I'll show you like this, that means that player is injured. If it's in red, it means they're suspended. All players are back and being suspended. There were a couple players that were suspended last week, but that's came into it. And that was a lot of Chargers that were actually suspended in that game. So that might have been why they lost that game. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next week for the predictions and see how badly I predicted these games. I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to give a game on. And I'll see you in the next video.